Hey everyone, in this video we're going to talk about Trello a little bit, which is a project management tool, and we'll focus on how Trello might be used for formative assessment in the classroom. Things that we want to highlight in this talk are, well, what is Trello, number one, how can we use it, number two, how are students and teachers using it, and in particular, what kind of role can it play in formative assessment. So what is it? It's kind of a to-do list that we can access online. It's managed digitally, organized into boards, and each board has lists or swim lanes, and we can move cards from lists from one to the other. Who uses it? Well, originally this was developed for professional project teams, especially in software development field. However, it's been used in lots of different ways, and education is one of the big ones. People also use it just to organize their daily lives, so it's a pretty flexible tool. It's completely free, up to 10 boards, and each board can have 10 members. If you want to go beyond that, there are subscription options available. I think they start about $5 a month. The website is real easy. It's just Trello.com, so you can access that. The link below. Why do I like it? Why is it good for teaching? Well, it's completely visual, which I like to have checklists and to-do lists, and I like to be able to see in a dynamic way what needs to get done and what has gotten done. So it connects with being engaged with a project, and we can use it for organizing our work and communicating digitally as well. So I like it as a pretty flexible classroom tool. How do we use it? Well, it's pretty basic as far as the concept goes. Set up a board. So you might do a board for a project, or you might do a board for a reading group, for example. And so you could have multiple boards for multiple groups, multiple teams, multiple projects. And so each board then you organize with lists, and the list can have cards on it. Each card can contain pretty much whatever you want as far as resources, links, attachments, to-do lists, so checklists. You can assign due dates. There's commenting options, so it's pretty flexible as far as how we can manage that. So here's an example board. This one's comes from one of the templates that Trello provides, and so in this case, this is set up for a teacher to organize their math units, but you could certainly assign this to an individual student or a group of students and have them working through these. But so each of these cards has attachments, options, or checklists. So real quick, let's just pop out and check out Trello. Here is our board, and each card can be opened up and edited. Here's all about angles, and we've got all kinds of different features to add in. This one, it has an attachment. If we wanted to put in a checklist, we could just click there and add in our checklist and however many tasks we wanted. If we want to add a due date, we can do so. We want to change the way these cards look. You can add different backgrounds, add images. So it's really kind of up to the user and how creative they get with it. But it can be quite simple too. Usually I'll just do a to do, doing, done, and blocked. Just 4 different lists makes a nice kind of project card, or project board rather. So let's take a look at a project board. For this one's actually I used for a math modeling project. My students set this up for their team, and so they put in things like information they needed to know or find out, what their goals were, and then they had, see sort of some of the dynamic way they used it. They had a list for today's work, so when they got together, they listed it out and were able to collaborate on it when they were in person right next to each other working. So, and then they left themselves what they needed to do for homework. And you can see they've completed everything, and so their project's done. I was able to go in here and leave comments on their steps, and able to just pop in on the board. I'm a member on the board, and there's 3 other students that worked on it. And it's a nice way to just be able to give feedback, and sometimes feedback's not even needed. You just pop in and you say, great, they're doing exactly what they need to be doing. They're on task, and it really is a nice way to check in. So how do we use this? I essentially mentioned it already, but you can assign tasks by adding team members to cards. And so you might have different activities, and each activity card you could assign different students. Or in a project environment, if there are things that need to get done, different teammates. You can have resources, so links to videos, links to documents, really any digital link you can provide on a card. There's a calendar feature, so you can set deadlines for each card. And the comments are commenting feature is really easy to use and be able to have a discussion in real time. So as I'm talking about this, one of the benefits I've found is being able to monitor student progress and then provide feedback right as they're working, and so they get a notification when I leave a comment. I get a notification when they leave a comment, and so it's a nice way to work kind of in real time. Some of the strengths I've mentioned: visual, and it's one of the advantages. Maybe you can think of that as a disadvantage too if you've got visual challenged students. This platform may not be great for them, but it does work well for communication between students that are on the same team, as well as with the teacher. And because it is really such a flexible environment, you can kind of set it up to be anything you really want, and so it's just up to sort of your creativity and how you end up using this tool. Some of the weaknesses or things to really consider. It's got a lot of features, and so it does take a little bit to familiarize yourself with how to use it. As I mentioned the notifications already, they can be a benefit, but they can also get overwhelming, and so if we're not using those effectively and setting up our settings the way we want, or instructing our students on how to share cards, which cards to share, then we'll be overloaded with notifications. Time management, it's just another tool. It doesn't necessarily save a lot of time. You have to plan for it in your schedule to check the boards, to leave comments, so just like any kind of assessment, it takes time. Layers of complexity. So if you're already using a learning management tool, using Trello might just be too much extra. Maybe all these benefits I've already mentioned you can get with your existing LMS. So my suggestions. So I allow my students set up their boards, give them some options, but there's some ideas. Probably having a template to set up boards and just give them those to work with would be beneficial, save them time on management and organization, but also when I, as a teacher, I go in to check those boards, looking for where they put their different things. It would save me a lot of time if it was just the same for each group. So, establishing clear guidelines and instructions for how to use these, giving them a demo, as well as building time into your schedule to actually check the boards and review and give feedback. So looking into this a little bit, Trello is a research-based tool. It's been successful in project-based learning environments, especially for formative assessment. As mentioned, that real-time feedback loop, it's a nice way nice tool to do that with, so we can add in tasks, change tasks, suggest resources, and so we can keep making adjustments based on how we see the student progressing. You see some of the highlights here on this slide that the research by Manzer and all point out. I won't necessarily go into those. You're invited to dig in more if you're curious, but one thing I will say is that this does work well for the Scrum or Agile team management framework, which goes back to the software development world. So in conclusion, I like Scrum, or I like Trello in particular using it in the Scrum framework, but it certainly can support learning, but it's just another tool. It doesn't necessarily replace us as a teacher. It just gives us another way to connect with our students. So if you have any questions or thoughts on this, I'd love to hear them. Feel free to leave a comment in any way you want, maybe on the slides or in this in our class forum. Okay, thank you for your time and interest, and I hope you have a good day.